everybody, this is Jerry with the HistoryBoiz, and we just want to say that Mr. Tyler Armentrout is not going to be with us for a little bit of time because he just became a father.
He's got a baby boy!
Oh, I thought he died.
It's same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Congratulations, Tyler.
Yeah, he's at home with his sweet baby boy.
He is. He looks like it looks like he's rested well.
Didn't he say that he sleeps like in 3-hour increments?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So he's a new father.
The picture that he sent us, he looked like a mess.
It's great.
Tired.
When I saw the picture that he sent of Eva and the baby,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he has Tyler's face. And I was like, oh, because Taylor has the face of a baby.
Yes.
He's got the big baby cheeks anyway. Every baby looks like Tyler.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, he's black, but he looks like Tyler.
None of this is true.
Yeah. He doesn't even look like Tyler.
Looks nothing like
Got
that.
a strong Russian, or a strong Roman nose.
It's got Tyler's hairline.
Already. Sorry, Tyler. We'll cut that out. We could just rag on Tyler for like...
Just rag on Tyler.
This is now a Tyler roast.
Yeah.
It's the Tyler Roast episode.
So
The Tyler Roast cast.
yeah.
Yes.
So because Tyler's not here, we have someone else with us to fill in. That person is
That's me. That's hi. I'm Andrew Stevens. I'm going to be a temporary history boy today.
yeah.
There you go.
And yeah, Andrew. We've known him a really long time. He worked on our
Web
series that we were making for a long time. We Kill Him. He was a writer on that show.
Directed
and
a few episodes.
Directed a few episodes.
He's in a few episodes.
He's in a few episodes.
Multifaceted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, he understands our humor,
Yeah, that's... That's why we had him write on the web series.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we already told you who we are the HistoryBoiz. I, as always, am Christopher Whedon, here to stay. There's nothing you guys can do about it, because I'm not going to have a baby.
I am Zach, the human cigarette mech.
Oh, yeah.
God.
And I feel like a bag of smashed assholes right now.
I agree.
You
do.
look
black
like
You
him.
look like
I'm wearing my loungewear.
Yeah.
he came to my apartment in sweatpants and, I think, flip-flops.
Yes,
Yeah.
flip-flops.
And I told him that dress code was formal. And,
Yeah. We're all here in cummerbunds.
I'm wearing a tux.
yeah. It's a black tie event.
Black tie event.
like
I
a
got my
fool.
monocle out for this.
Yeah.
And he can't bother to put on a nice pair of shoes.
I can't see shit out of this monocle. It's
I mean,
not
come
my
on.
prescription.
What do you expect from a sound guy? We don't know how to dress. I mean, plain and simple.
We always dress up for the show.
Yeah.
Zach doesn't, and
Zach-
it's a lot
yeah.
of strife behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. It's definitely impeded our relationship on multiple levels.
yeah,
You have
Pajamas only.
yeah.
he-
Tyler lied about having a baby, so he didn't have to be around Zach.
Zach's social faux pas mech. Thank you.
History boy.
Yeah.
History boy.
Also a history boy. So this week we're gonna release an episode a week for the month of October because it's scary.
Hella spooky.
Ooh,
So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
So to
I'm
kick,
afraid already.
yeah,
I pissed my pants. Second said spooky. I said spooky.
yeah,
Made that same joke last episode.
yeah.
And you will next episode.
I will every episode. Just soaking in my own urine in it's my apartment in my cummerbund and
Your urine-soaked cummerbund.
urine soaked cummerbund. It was soaked before I put it on.
Yeah, that's what makes it formal.
It was already soaked.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Not cat pee.
I threw it on the floor and I urinated on it.
yeah.
Then I put it on.
It's to let everyone know that it's yours.
because
Yeah.
I'm old school like that.
Yeah.
Traditional.
Yeah, traditional. To kick off this sort of month of scariness, we are going to cover the Hinterkaifeck Murders.
Cool.
Sounds delicious.
Hinter meaning low. Kaifak meaning...
Low or behind.
Ooh. Oh!
Behind the Kaifak.
Meaning... Kaifak meaning behind a rock. Speaking about Tyler's...
Yes.
press.
No, Kaifek's the name of a town.
Fucking piece of shit, Tyler.
So deep in the alpine foothills of Bavaria, near the small town of Hinterkaifeck, which is 43 miles north of Munich.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
There's a movie called that.
It's good.
I've heard of the movie. There's a town?
I've never heard of the city.
Well, there was a farmstead that was known locally as Hinterkaifeck, below or behind.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely not above.
No, certainly not above. And home to the Grubers. There's a family of 6.
Like Hans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
So
so too.
I've been imagining these all at the top of Nakatomi Plaza as I was reading the outline.
As I was writing it, I did want to write Hans Gruber every single time. Every single
There's
time.
not one of them named Hans?
No,
That's a shame.
unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
Probably are. They're all named Hans.
Yeah.
It is Bavaria.
Yeah. So in the years just after World War I, Germany's economy experienced economic depression and hyperinflation because when they had to pay for, the reparations after the war, they couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. And what they decided to do was just print a bunch of money.
Yeah.
That's
Here's your
always a smart
fucking
thing to
money.
do.
Yeah,
Here.
and you'd
always
see
works.
you'd see people with a barrel of cash, and they would dump the cash out and take the barrel.
Barrel was worth more.
Like Zimbabwe, right? Was it Zimbabwe that did that? That did
Yeah,
something like
also
that?
did that,
Or
yeah.
just like
Totally
where they had like a
debased the
$1 trillion
currency.
bill that was completely worthless.
Yeah,
When they shove the currency up their ass.
yeah.
That's a Diogenes reference to
Yep.
that episode.
Yeah.
Shoved it. I can't believe you made that joke. Shoving the coins up his ass. That's devaluing the currency.
In our
That's
defense,
so
it was
ridiculous.
a reference to a TV show, Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh, the ass
Oh,
pennies.
okay.
Yeah, we totally talked about ass pennies.
That's
Nice.
right. Yeah.
We went to the whole plot of that episode.
And the impact of this depression and hyperinflation was really felt in the more rural areas of Germany, and Bavaria, being pretty rural in most of the area, felt it very much so. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these small farming communities would have to kind of band together to survive, you know, and they would subsist, rather than be a part of the greater economy, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the
Yeah.
greater economy is practically...
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The brutal and bizarre killings that happened at Hinterkaifeck remain unsolved to this day.
Spooky.
Yeah. Now, although there are theories as to what happened, with all varying degrees of plausibility, there was actually a police academy in Nuremberg in
Nice.
2007, that actually declared this case impossible to solve, especially at this
Ghosts.
point.
It's ghosts, obviously.
It's ghosts.
Either ghosts or a Bigfoot, calling it right now.
It was Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah.
We mentioned Police Academy last episode, so let's just...
Just
Michael
keep
Winslow
going.
made sound effects, everybody.
whoop.
Continue.
Yeah, that's the sound effects he makes, right?
Yeah, Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Which I think is a reference to Curly from Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is. So the Grubers of Hinterkaifeck kept to themselves. Although they were, generally considered with respect, they were respected among their community, but not necessarily well liked. Like the patriarch of the family, Andreas Gruber, he was 63 when these events went down. He wasn't really a friendly man. He was accused of being miserly and quarrelsome.
Were they known? Was it a family that was known like the Kellys? Like
Sort of, but they were well off.
Okay.
They were more well off than most
rest
of
of
the
this-
town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
so
they're
that's why people didn't like 'em.
hoarding goods.
Yeah.
They're like, I get all the wheelbarrows.
Yeah.
So they were the rich version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
They had a whole
Kind of.
pantry full of Bavarian chocolates.
Oh, delicious.
They're keeping them to themselves.
You can't hoard all those chocolates in there. He's like, try and stop me.
So yeah, they were left alone for the most part, but they were still a part of the community, and such a small community, everyone knew each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everyone knew. So if you had like little secrets or there was a little rumor going around, chances are everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
Small
Right.
town mentality.
Oh yeah. Andreas Gruber, he made a decent living. Again, like they were better off than most of the people in the town. by using this farm. You know, they had cows and they would grow seasonal crops and things like this. Mm-hmm. Then there was Andreas's wife, and I'm probably going to screw this up, Chetzelia, I believe.
Chetzelia. I have no idea.
I believe that's how it's pronounced. Chetzelia. She was actually 72.
Oh.
A little bit older than
Cougars.
Robbing the cradle.
68 to 72.
Yeah. Exactly.
68?
The little baby, 68-year-old.
30, 63?
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I fucked that up. Yes, 63. Then there was their adult daughter. She was 35 years old. Her name was Victoria Gabriel, because she was widowed. Her husband was killed on the Western Front in World War I in 1914.
That makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah. And she was there with her 2 children, also named Chetzelia, the little 2-year-old named Joseph. And of course they had a live-in maid.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
La-dee-da.
Yeah. Now, there were rumors going around. Rumors that little Joseph was the product of an incestuous relationship between Andreas and his daughter Victoria.
I believe it 100%.
I, for one, blame Pornhub.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Now, one source even claimed that this rumor is substantiated because Andreas did a year in prison for the crime of incest, as well as Victoria serving a month in prison for the same crime. It was
So hold on, wait.
was
So
one source.
So both of them definitely went to prison for incest.
There was one source that I read that in.
Okay.
So
alright.
so I don't know if that's true
I
or not.
also wonder,
There's
like,
a lot of this that may
in those
or may not be
days,
true.
like, how much proof did you have to say?
Right?
Right.
Like,
right.
so
Exactly.
did the
Like
court
witch
system
trial
work
style.
in Bavaria at this time?
Right.
I just feel like, I mean, maybe the rumor started because they were thrown in prison for incest.
I don't
when
know.
they didn't do it.
Yeah. Well.
Could have happened.
Hold on.
Also, a month for incest seems like a low amount.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Especially for women at that time.
Yeah.
You'd feel like they'd throw the book at the woman just because they like to do that.
I'm going to
historically.
assume that Victoria let them take some feet photos,
Yeah.
and that's why she was only given a month.
She gave them a full subscriber status on her OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Now, the father of Joseph could not have been Victoria's husband, Carl Gabriel, because, like I was saying, Carl died in 1914 in the trenches, 6 years before his son was born. So that certainly
Long
is not him.
gestation period.
There's no way she could have met another man in that period of time.
No,
Just
there
her father.
was. There was. Because the name that is on Joseph's birth certificate is a man named Laurence Schlittenbauer.
Oh.
And that it lists him as the father. This is because Laurence Schlittenbauer and Victoria had a bit of a relationship where they were going to get married, maybe, sort of, and Andreas didn't approve of the relationship for whatever reason. When Laurence kind of left, they left on bad terms. They wanted alimony from him, and he refused to pay it. He claimed that Joseph was not his, and that was Andreas's son. And he told everybody, he reported the crime, that this was incest to the police. They got acquitted.
I mean,
They got thrown out, but...
Right.
So either, I'm seeing two possibilities here,
Yeah,
out of many.
right.
The two,
Yeah.
the two Occam's razors, if you will.
Right.
Either it's true that
Right.
was an incestuous relationship, which is why probably there was bad blood between the two.
Right.
Right.
Style.
I
Right.
would imagine that they would not get along.
Right,
Like, so you
yeah.
you impregnated your daughter, my girlfriend. That's a bit of an issue for me.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then they
yeah.
wrote his name on there.
Right.
Or it's totally not true. Andreas is an asshole, or maybe they got into a kerfuffle, fight, an argument.
He was abusive. Andreas was very abusive.
Okay.
Whatever it was, maybe Laurens hated him and lied about it to get back.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be part of this family.
Yeah, I can
Right.
see either of those being the case.
Like, you
Well-
fucked your daughter, I'm done.
there may
Well-
be information you have not given me, but I'm just
Well,
saying. I can
there's
see
there's
those.
there's a little bit, but you're not. I don't know. I think that's still a pretty solid theory because later Schlittenbauer changed his tune and he started saying the child was indeed his, but many believe that he was paid off that the Grubers gave him a stack of cash and told him to shut up about it.
I can
So he stopped. He stopped.
I can
saying
still see
anything.
both of the, like
Yeah.
they could give him a stack of cash under both of those circumstances. Like,
Right.
dude, can you shut the fuck up? You know that kid's yours. Here's some money. Shut up.
Totally.
Or, dude,
Yeah.
we know it's true. Shut the fuck up. You know.
Right.
And they got that
My-
hush money from Nakatomi Plaza after the huge heist that they planned.
Yeah, where they
To
cleared
steal-
out. They cleared out all the gold bullion.
Yeah, they faked it as a terrorist attack, but it turned out that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about them Benjamins.
Yeah. Much like the film, All About the Benjamins.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. That's the movie you're referencing?
Yes, the curious case of All About the Benjamins button.
Yeah. I've seen this movie several times. It's a
cracking.
Thanksgiving movie. Do you know that? Sorry. Wah, wah, wah. Now, whether there's any truth to any of this, who knows? And it's uncertain. You kind of got to take all of this with a grain of salt. Some believe that it had to do with Schlittenbauer not wanting to pay the alimony that he was promised, or that he was promised Victoria's hand in marriage. There's all these theories, about how these incest charges were dropped, or if they were even there. Like, there's a lot of these things.
The whole thing sounds like a shit show.
It is. And Schlittenbauer eventually married a different woman.
Get the fuck out of there.
The thing is they had a child, and it unfortunately didn't make it past infancy.
Oh.
He's got weak seed.
Well,
Yeah. What an idiot.
Joseph couldn't be his.
yeah.
Joseph Strong. Strong like Andreas.
Like his pop.
It's debatable. Just saying he's strong in the same way as his grandfather and his father.
His pep.
Yeah. Pap.
In late March of 1922. Now, I do want to say, some sources say that this stuff that I'm about to tell you happened over the course of 6 months. But there's a couple of reasons why I think it happened over the course of maybe shorter than that.
Okay.
A month, maybe even shorter. Because they had a live-in maid. And I think we'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway,
Maid
there's
did it.
disagreement on how long this stuff took.
Okay,
Maid always
cool.
did it.
Okay.
If
Good
there's
thing
no
they didn't
butler,
have a butler,
it's-
right? They wouldn't have made it that far.
the
So-
butler would have clearly done it.
1922, the Grubers' live-in maid ran screaming from the house and vowed never to work there again.
Ghosts.
She claimed the place was possessed and that there
Cool.
were demons living
Oh,
there.
Sick. A little Amityville horror.
Yeah,
hella
yeah,
spooky.
yeah. But the truth is, she wasn't so crazy.
Because it was haunted, and there were demons there.
Or a Bigfoot.
Or
or Bigfoot.
Bigfoot is a demon.
It's a hot take.
you heard it here first.
Bigfoot will possess you.
Yeah,
That's my crazy conspiracy theory.
Bigfoot's a demon.
Yeah, and he runs the government. George Bush is Bigfoot.
He's actually a Bigfoot in a mask.
Yeah.
It's not even a good mask.
You can see the hair coming out
Yeah.
under the mask.
It's
Yeah.
embarrassing we didn't notice.
It's too focused on not trying to forget that the one thing. 9/11.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
yeah. There you go. Bigfoot caused that.
Bigfoot did not know.
Bigfoot did not.
Knew it.
Knew it.
Didn't want to say it, but I knew it.
Bigfoot melts
We
steel
all
beams.
fucking knew it. Nobody had
just
the balls
walked
to
up and
say it till
slammed
now.
it. That's so fucked up. This whole thing is fucked up.
It's like that video game Rampage.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
That's what caused
Don't.
Knock down the two towers.
I blame
So
George and
fucked up.
Lizzie for 9/11.
So fucked up. So earlier that month, Andreas Gruber started to notice strange things around his farm. The first thing was deeply troubling. He found a set of footprints in the snow
Yeah, big ones.
that led from the edge of the dense forest across his land and to his house. But none going the other way.
Ah,
No one
shit.
going back.
How big were those footprints?
History is silent.
So it's a Bigfoot in the wall.
Or
Ooh, one of those.
Shaquille O'Neal, barefoot.
Fair. Because he
In
has
the
bare
snow.
feet, right?
He's got big feet,
No, he's got bare feet.
big bare feet,
Right.
or was it bear? Continue.
Okay. Andreas also found. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of the idea of Jerry sitting us all down to tell us about how a bear attacked a whole family once. And how important that is to history.
It's very important to your
A bear
historical.
killed his family.
A bear massacred a family. No, it was not a bear. Andreas also found a newspaper that he didn't recognize. It was from somewhere else. Like, I couldn't find where it was actually from. You know, like if it was Russian or if it was just from...
Like North Germany?
Yeah,
or
Berlin or something. Either way, it was a newspaper that he didn't recognize that was not from there.
It was probably Breitbart.
Yeah. Talking about how Obama is a lizard person.
So it troubled him so much that he mentioned to the neighbors, you know, hey, is anything been weird going on around your house? And they're like, no. And they're like, what'd you see? You know, he just talked about the newspaper. He's like, I found this newspaper, and I don't know where it's from. I don't know how it got there,
Right.
you know? And I found a set of footprints that led from, you know, the thick forest all the way across my land to my house.
And then I went up to the attic and I saw Bigfoot reading a newspaper.
And they're like, no, nothing's wrong here. So, you know, days are going by. The lock on the barn shows signs of tampering, like someone's trying to pick it or maybe even break it.
Huh.
Then his second set of keys go missing. And,
You don't like that?
yeah, so now, like,
Now they can get
there's
in.
all this stuff. Yeah, and they're hearing noises at night.
Oh, cool.
They're hearing creaks in the attic. Like, Andreas is, like, staying awake at night, listening to, like, what he thinks are footprints.
Do they go up in the attic?
Footsteps in the attic, yeah.
Did he go up there, though?
He went up there,
Like Zoinks, dude.
and he looked around. He didn't find anything.
People are good at hiding in attics. I mean, like, you've seen Jojo Rabbit. Like, it's
Yeah.
a thing. People are trained in this, especially around Germany at this time.
Where do you think they got it from?
Yeah.
Is that insensitive? I don't mean it to be.
No. Yeah.
I'm Jewish. I'm allowed to say things.
Okay. Oh,
I have to say somewhere explicitly in this that I'm Jewish, so that I can make as many anti-Semitic jokes as possible.
yeah. Tyler, we had too much Aryan influence in our show.
Yeah. We had
We had to change that.
Yeah,
we have to balance it out a little
We don't want to
bit.
mix it up too much, so we still went with the straight white guy. But at least he's Jewish.
yeah.
It's the most ethnic we can get a straight white guy.
yeah.
On short notice.
So short notice?
Sure. This time of night?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, and it was these noises that caused the maid to run screaming from the house. You know, saying that there was demons and shit inside, because every time they would look or look around in the house, they wouldn't find shit. So yeah, they're dealing with this for, you know, whether it's 1 month, several months, they're dealing with it for some amount of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? That it's really troubling, you know.
Plus, the lost a maid. The place is getting filthy.
Well, yeah, and so this is why I think it was not much longer, because I don't think they would have gone 6 months without a maid.
Oh, these people? No.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
But like one month, yeah, I could see that. I could see 1 month totally,
Maybe.
and all this stuff happening over the course of a month. Yes,
Once Andreas stops taking his anger out on the maid and onto the family, they would have to just get another maid. You're right.
yeah.
And like some Bigfoot hiding away for 6 months is a lot less feasible than a Bigfoot hiding away for 1 month.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
Or a bear in a Bigfoot costume.
I think one theory that we're
yeah.
overlooking, though, is perhaps Hinterkaifeck was at the point...
Kaifak.
Kaifek. Thank you for correcting me. It's at the point of time dilation.
Ah,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, so...
It's on a ley line.
It is. It's on a ley line.
It's like a future man.
It's Future Man.
It's
It's a future man, is what your story is.
Yes.
It's Marty McFly.
Yes. Marty McFly is hiding in the... Oh, that's what happened.
Doc Brown and Marty McFly.
No, he
Run for
crashed
it, Marty.
the DeLorean into the barn.
Yeah.
And
Take
he
that,
had
you
to
mutated son of a bitch!
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite lines from Back to the Future.
All of that is based off of this.
Yeah.
Marty McFly he traveled backwards through time in Bavaria. He's
Killed
up
an
in the
entire
attic,
family.
Killed the entire family and went back to the present.
Went back to
alert.
1980, whatever, 81?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Back to the Future 1.5.
Nice.
The unreleased one.
director's
On
The
account
Zack
of
Snyder cut.
on account
Yes.
of the Grizzly murders, it was never released.
Release the cut.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, April 1st, 1922, 7-year-old Chetzelia didn't show up for school. The next day, Sunday, the Grubers didn't show up for church.
She went to
They never
school on a
missed.
Saturday?
Yeah, they would go to school every day except for Sunday.
What are they, Japanese?
Ugh.
Yeah. You got no TV.
Fair.
Yeah, school's
They got school
probably
all every day.
released compared
Cool,
to being
6
home
days
with
a week.
Andreas.
Yeah, seriously.
Or a
No,
Bigfoot.
according to everything I know about Japanese culture, which I learned from Persona 5 exclusively, you go to school on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I was watching that and being like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Japanese are hardworking
I'm
people.
not going to school.
And I'm not a hardworking person. I'm
same.
an
I'm
extraordinarily
American.
lazy person.
Yeah, we're
I'm
American.
lazy for an American.
Same.
When people are like, Biden voters just don't want to work, I'm like, yeah. In
Who
fact,
wants to
Biden,
work?
Why does
Biden
anyone
is,
want to work? We haven't adjusted anything about work since the 40s.
I don't want to work at all. I want to work. I don't want to work another day in my life.
You just want to bang on these drums all day.
Nice.
I want to get back to playing Hades all day, every day. Game's addictive.
Banging the drums.
Crusader Kings.
Ooh,
I want to play
That's
that.
real fun, too.
Oh,
If my
dude, so
laptop
good.
can run it, I'm gonna get it.
So on Monday, April 3rd, Chetzelia missed school once again, which was
Truant.
very strange that she would miss school at all. But 2 days in a row, kind of, you know, that is cause for alarm.
That's the chicken pox, man.
Did the chicken box.
Somebody would have said something though.
Somebody-
Bigfoot pox.
Somebody went back to the house, saw the girl with chicken pox, went into a violent rage, and murdered the whole family.
I don't want to be itchy.
They're like, I never got chicken pox as a child.
So that same day, April 3rd, the mailman had also noticed that the mail was still there from the last visit. And he didn't see anyone, like, in or around the house, and he said, like, he usually saw someone around the house or something.
So the mailman was a peeping Tom. I now theorize the mailman did it.
Yeah. He went to the police to take him off as a witness.
Exactly.
But it didn't work.
This episode's just going to be like the movie Clue.
It weighs. There's gonna be a bunch of endings.
Now, no one was really alarmed, though, yet. Because the neighbors, they had seen smoke coming from the chimney the whole weekend. Which says that there was
Somebody
someone
was home.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone.
Yeah. So on April 4th, a mechanic who had been hired on to work on the farm machinery, he showed up, and he, like, hello, I'm here to do the work. No one came out. No one said anything. There was just a barking dog. So he went over, and he fixed the machinery, you know, didn't see a soul. Not the entire time. Didn't see a soul.
Huh.
And then, like,
I bet he never got paid for fixing that machine.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
right?
He never did. I promise you he never
Man,
did.
hours worked or hours paid. I mean,
Right?
Brutal.
So,
sounds like you need
Hard
some-
work
He-
is its own reward.
yeah, so he...
That is a very German thing to say.
That is the most German thing ever. Yeah. So, you know, the dude, like, he's like, this is weird. So he goes to the neighbors again, and he's like, are you sure that there's nothing to be alarmed over here? I mean, I didn't see anybody. And they're like, you know what? That is really weird. Let's like, get a couple of people together, and let's go down and just check on the family. Like,
Yeah.
no one's heard anything from them in days now.
Get your torch and fit.
Blah, 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 blah.
Whoa. Wow. I had a mini stroke there for a second.
It's okay.
I was going to say, grab your torch and pitchforks.
Yes.
Yes.
Not that kind of search party. They're not hunting Frankenstein's monster. They're just
Yes.
checking to see if a family
Yeah,
is okay.
they're hunting Bigfoot.
Jesus.
That's why they have their crossbows in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bigfoot hates crossbows. It's the cross shape.
Yeah.
Because
He's
he's
not-
a demon.
So he's also a vampire.
I said it was a demon.
Oh, he's a demon too. Yeah.
yeah.
He's also a vampire.
He's a vampire demon.
So, okay,
Bigfoot.
okay,
The
okay,
vampire
okay.
demon.
And, more and more people are getting involved now. They're like, let's go check out the Grubers. Let's see if they're okay. So, actually, the man that led this search party was Laurence Schlittenbauer.
Oh, the killer.
Yeah. I've been thinking that the whole time.
Well,
The,
we'll get
the
there.
X,
We'll get
the
there.
Angry X.
They approached the home and saw what everyone else had seen: the barking Pomeranian,
Aw.
which
Oh,
were
boy.
actually much bigger back then,
Oh.
Like a chow?
kind of like a chow size.
Are they
Yeah.
equally mean?
Chows are
Well,
pretty mean.
they were used for security because of how often they bark.
Oh, little palms.
So they're actually bred to bark like that,
Aw.
which is interesting.
This explains a lot.
Yeah.
So annoing though.
Oh, I can't stand them, but they're very cute.
They're
I've met some
very
very
cute.
nice ones.
I love seeing a palm at a distance.
little faces.
They got little cute faces.
And but yeah, otherwise quiet home and totally locked up. All the doors were locked. Everything was locked. They're like, what the fuck,
Huh.
And all the animals too, all seemed totally fine. Like days and days had gone by. They were not emaciated. They had been fed. All the animals were taken care of.
Cool.
All of them.
Well, Bigfoot is a friend to all the animals.
Right now, I'm on the side of Bigfoot. Are we allowed to take sides yet?
On the side of Bigfoot.
He killed the whole family and he fed the pets,
I'm pro Bigfoot.
right?
But as soon as they started looking out, around, however, they found something that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. In the corner of the barn, covered with hay, were the stacked bodies of Andreas, his wife, Cecilia,
Consuelo,
Victoria,
as the maid.
and her 7-year-old daughter, Cecilia. Each of them had suffered brutal wounds to the head with a pickaxe-type tool.
Or a Bigfoot claw.
It was actually a mattock, but the mattock wasn't actually found until a year later.
Isn't that the name of the style that the Romans used against Boudica? You know what I'm talking
thinking
about?
of
Yes,
matlock.
the war tactic that Julius
Yeah.
Caesar kind of invented.
Yeah, it wasn't a phalanx. It was
It
called
was
a
a
mattock?
mattock. It was a Roman mattock. Yes, exactly.
So Julius Caesar did this.
So, do you know what a shit? Do you know
Caesar's
what a
ghost.
Do you know
No.
what a mattock is? So
really.
you've seen so on one side
Is it a scythe?
Yes!
no,
scythes.
it's not.
They got killed with the scythe.
So on one side it's kind of like a pickaxe that goes horizontally, and then on the other side there's like a pickaxe that goes vertically.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or horizontally and then vertically.
Okay.
Right.
Weird.
So yeah, it has it's for chewing up ground, right? And then you dig it. It's easier to dig once you chewed it up.
I'm looking at a picture of it, and
Yeah, you've seen one, right?
it's very familiar looking.
Let me see that. Oh.
You look at it, and you're like, yeah, that's for
Yeah, it's
digging up the
mattock.
earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not for cutting down
Put that
wheat.
on the Facebook
That's a
page.
scythe.
Yeah, it will be.
When are you going to tell a story of people get killed with a scythe? You know, in history, somebody has.
Yeah, we'll get there. How's that? Not now. So inside the home, on the second floor, their new maid, Maria Baumgartner,
Oh, so they did have a new maid. They replaced her.
it was her
Maria.
first day on the job. March 1st was her,
Rough.
sorry, March 31st was her first day on the job.
And so it wouldn't make sense for them to have gone 6 months and then put...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that makes
That's
sense.
what I'm saying.
Sure,
Huh.
they wouldn't have.
So her first day on the job, she's now dead in her bed with the sheet covered, pulled over her.
Everyone else is in the pile.
Everyone else is, and so is little Yosef
Oh.
has also been bludgeoned
Oh.
Right.
in his crib, and he also has a sheet.
I don't know why you saying in his crib made that
Ugh.
so much more brutal.
He wasn't moved. Like the dude, whoever it was, walked up with the mattock and with one blow
Just went pop.
killed this 2-year-old child.
Oh,
And what's fucked up about
why
it?
is that the hardest part to hear?
What
the innocence of it, I think.
Yeah, honestly, what fucks with me the most is the way they knew how it went down is because in the ceiling there were marks from
it
where he
pulling it up.
whipped it up violently before bringing it down.
So he hit the baby or the toddler.
Once because there was one mark in the ceiling where the baby was.
It's
multiple.
bizarre that
There's like
he,
holes in the ceiling.
or she, or whoever this was, like fed, seemingly fed the animals, but was willing to kill the
Kill the
infant,
child,
the equally
yes.
like innocent,
covered the
couldn't do
body.
anything. That's
and
so
covered
weird.
the body.
Huh.
Well, I
And
wonder
like stacked them in the barn and covered them with hay. Like that's not really hiding them,
Did they
but they're covering them.
maybe he was
stack them
staying.
like Jenga pieces?
Maybe they're hoping nobody
like
would come
on-
check on the family.
on top of each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're living there. I'll feed the animals. Nobody's going to check on the family. You should have got the mail.
Yeah, that was an oversight on his part.
But then he would have been seen.
Are the animals outside? Some of
Yeah,
them. Yeah, the dogs
I mean,
outside.
they're in the middle. I mean, their neighbors are pretty far away.
So you could check the mail.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
get
because
the
this
mail.
isn't like a modern suburb. They're
It's
not
like when you're-
right next. Their houses
Right.
are
When-
next
no.
to each other.
They got a bunch of land
When
in
somebody's
between.
away and I'm feeding their animals, I check the mail. Mm-hmm. That's all he's doing.
You bring it in,
They're
you set it
away.
on the table.
They're away. He's feeding the animals. He's checking the mail.
I think Bigfoot does not understand the concept of mail.
Clearly,
That's why he did check the mail.
That is actually
It's
a
fatal
very
flaw.
good point.
It was Bigfoot.
Another point into me thinking this is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Bigfoot can't read.
Read?
Now the craziest part about it is that it was determined that they were all killed on the night or early morning, March 31st or April 1st, one by one. Some of the victims were still dressed, while some were in their nighttime attire, meaning that they had just had dinner. Or something was, they were about to go to bed.
Right.
Right.
Somehow, each victim was lured from the house into the barn, brutally massacred, one at a time. One by one.
They were murdered in the barn.
In the
We
barn.
know that.
We know that.
So you think he was just like?
Is that just due to... How do we know they're murdered? I guess you...
That's where all the blood is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like making a noise in the barn. Each person keeps coming and checking,
Yeah. How?
I guess
How?
you can't...
not learning the lesson.
I
Yeah,
can't see
yeah.
first
Four
bludgeon
people.
Another
somebody.
person had come back, yeah.
You can't put a mattock in somebody's fucking skull and not have blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
yeah.
a good
And they
point.
were... this is fucked up, but like the children...
That's fucked up.
The children took less to kill.
Yeah.
But most of them were hit multiple times with the mattock.
Mm-hmm.
So like Andreas, like his head was completely crushed, completely torn open.
Metal.
Gross.
It's terrible. It's awful.
It is metal. It's too metal for me.
Yeah.
In a very disturbing detail, 7-year-old Chetzelia was found with clumps of her own hair clutched in her hands, meaning that she was alive for some time after the initial blow to the head.
Fuck.
And the pain was so great
no.
that she ripped out her own hair.
Jerry!
Hey, just hit her twice, man. Christ.
She must have
girl.
been screaming. It must have been horrific.
Oh, Jesus.
Which you would think
7-year-old girl.
she must have been one of the last to die. Then
She was the
right?
last one
Like,
to the barn, I'm sure.
Yeah, like people
Yeah.
keep getting brought to
I'm
the
sure,
barn.
I'm sure it
and
was
then-
Andreas first because he was still dressed.
Well, you probably also want to get the biggest dude
Yeah.
out of the mix.
Andreas was first, then his wife, who was in her nightgown, and then the child.
Yeah.
Also, the child.
Or then Victoria, then the child.
Fuck me.
So it went from the biggest to the smallest.
Yes, and then he went inside
And then murdered the maid and
the maid and the baby.
The baby.
Yeah, yeah.
So fucked.
That made me so fucking nauseous.
I was like,
Yeah.
the second you talked about the baby getting killed in the crib, I was like, ugh, that
Yeah,
just you're like it got worse and worse and worse.
yeah.
I wish I was
poor
loaded with a palate cleanser right
poor
now.
fucking girl.
Fuck me.
I don't know. Does anyone have a palate cleanser? No, we're not gonna do a palate cleanser. This is
Not yet.
This is spooky time.
this is spooky time.
I'm spooked.
Okay, so small amounts of money were taken, but
Just enough to buy animal feed.
it was well known that the Grubers had large amounts of money, and they had jewels and jewelry and things like this. And if the dude stuck around after the murders, he had more than enough time to look around and steal all the money that they had. So the motive could not have been robbery.
Yeah,
You know who it doesn't?
He didn't take their jewels, and he didn't take the
He took a couple of bucks off of them.
That's
You know who
it.
doesn't understand the concept of money?
It's Bigfoot.
Yeah. He might, understand it enough to be like, this is important to people.
Right.
So maybe he grabbed a couple handfuls of it, thinking, this is how I will, make it in the real world. But he doesn't understand.
Bigfoot's gonna take Manhattan.
That is truly fucking
Well, that's how he
bizarre,
got to
though.
the...
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it
that
that
is
they would
actually
take
really weird
small
element to
amounts of
take
money?
any, like, if he had taken none, you
That
might
would
be
make
like,
more sense.
that's kind of like just maybe a crazy person came in and did some crazy things.
Right.
But like
A small
taking
amount.
some and not like all that you could
it
when you
almost
had
sounds
so
like-
much time.
Well,
Yeah,
you'd
it
feel
almost
bad
sounds-
taking all the money.
After all that too, like
It seems like he almost took it like out of their pockets or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they had money stashed away. They had all jewelry and all this stuff. Again, if you were there for a while.
and there's no one left to claim it.
No.
Right.
That's very weird.
That is super weird.
And it was evident that after this grisly act, the killer did stay in the house for the days following.
Yeah.
He ate meals there, he fed the animals there, and he made fires in the fireplace there.
That was-
now,
yeah.
Now, whether this is like misdirection or whatever, I don't know. You know what I mean?
And this is the 40s, 50s.
This is 1922.
Oh shit!
Right.
Okay, this is 1922. So
It was like kind of just following. I mean,
like,
at
this
this
is,
point,
this
it's
is too early to even have in your head. Like, here's how you do this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is it's before a lot
about a
of things.
decade past World War One.
Yeah.
About 11.
Crazy.
And as to who did it, no one knew. And unfortunately, by the time the police had arrived, the crime scene was ruined, as multiple people had traipsed through it, and at that point, they were like making snacks in the kitchen. Oh, cool. You know what I mean? Like,
It was a John Benet Ramsey situation.
Oh yeah.
and they instantly moved the bodies.
They're just.
Instantly moved the
I love that they're just like making snacks.
Yeah.
They're like,
They're like,
you know what? Like, this
I'm
is really
hungry.
gross, but like, could you make some nibblies?
Dude, I'm hungry. Give me some crackers and cheese.
Anyone want a grilled cheese?
Yeah.
I
can
think
go
about
for
making a
grilled cheese.
quesadilla.
We're making quesadillas in here.
Oh hell yeah!
Put me down for a quesadilla. It would be weird to make snacks at a
That's
crime
so weird.
scene,
That's
wouldn't it?
That's
fucking
as weird
weird.
as the killer taking some money. Like,
Yeah,
making,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's a dead baby. Did they you said they moved the bodies. They bring him into the house.
Well, let me
they
tell you.
eat
Yeah, is
snacks?
there,
Let me tell you.
is there a corpse of a baby there while they're making snacks?
Let me tell you. Okay, so we'll get there. We'll get there. There are a lot of theories put forth as to who committed this horrific crime. One of them being that Victoria's husband, Carl, hadn't actually died on the Western Front
Ooh.
because his body was never found.
Well,
And that he had come back and killed the whole family because, there's another son there's the whole thing,
He transformed into a Bigfoot.
He was hungry for hands.
I got a rumbling that only hands can satisfy. That's a reference. Like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
from like llamas with hats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you thought this might be a possibility, I'm here to tell you, cannot be. Because several soldiers were like, oh no, I saw him die.
I watched him die.
Yeah. Like several of them. Which
I
makes
watched you die.
which makes me believe that he was, like, blown up
Like
or some shit.
eviscerated.
Like, they didn't find the body because there was no body to find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he got blown up and they all saw it, I think that's what happened. Just
Crushed
from-
by drunk dump truck driver.
Those are deep cuts.
It's on Netflix. Anybody can watch
It's
that.
true. It's true. Another theory is that it was a soldier from Carl's unit who had heard the stories of the Grubers being well off, and like went down there during the economic downturn and killed the family and took the money.
But it was just like
But
a
he
little
didn't
bit
take
of
that money.
Yeah.
That much money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that,
it
like-
can't be robbery.
Right?
This cannot be.
That can't be the primary
There's
motivation.
no
anyway.
way it was that. There's
I have
no
a
way it was that.
So I have a theory.
Yeah.
It's similar to that, but I'm going to leave it till the end.
Okay, good. Because I'm going to go through them now. Another theory said that maybe it was a far left or far right military group that had killed the family, seeing as after World War I, political violence was prevalent in Germany. And so there would be communists killing Nazis, before it all really went down,
That's
kind of
gonna
a
be
thing.
us soon.
It's already kind of happening.
Yeah.
There's already a tit for tat kind of
Deaths
happening
on
in
both
this country.
sides.
So, and they're
That's how it starts.
I'm nervous
yeah.
to say the least.
We need to talk to our boss at Antifa.
Yeah,
about
right.
what our
Yeah,
next move is.
George Soros hasn't mailed me my check this
Please,
month.
Soros,
Yeah.
tell me what to do.
Yeah, tell me what to do, you old man.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that I'd never heard of George Soros
Right?
until all these things came.
Everyone's like, George Soros is paying these people to
was like,
protest.
who?
I'm like, I don't feel this way. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I was
I feel this way
protesting.
very
I
independent.
did not get paid.
Right. Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Who the fuck is paying?
If he's paying,
You know
like,
that meme where it's like,
You guys getting paid?
yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
I believed in
Where's
the
my money?
movement.
Yeah.
I
You
nothing.
believed it.
They scammed me good.
Yeah. They didn't pay me a dime. Someone out there is going, I know. That's what they want you to do. They want you to...
They want you to. They're tricking you.
Yeah,
Ugh.
QAnon told me.
gross.
Yeah.
Well, QAnon
I
told
don't-
me that they're not getting paid. And that,
I thought you were gonna go much further, but instead you just said the opposite.
yeah.
Which I think is really funny. To next time, you're in an argument with somebody like
Oh,
that.
if you fucking.
Well, QAnon told me no, so.
And just QAnon told me the opposite.
Yeah.
Couldn't be.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but it's true. There, QAnon has been telling me that Black Lives Matter and
Right, right.
Obama's birth certificate came from Kenya.
and Trump is like. Do you remember Men in Black 1? What the fucking
Yes.
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
and he's a bugman in a suit,
Yes.
a human suit. That's Trump.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
That's why his
This is
fit
common
skin doesn't
knowledge.
fit right.
Yes. It's
Trump's
actually just
an
Andy
alien
Kaufman.
bugman. Yeah, it's- who is an alien bugman?
Yeah.
What president hasn't been
Obama
an
was a
alien
lizard
bugman?
person. George W. was a Bigfoot.
We've had no presidents that were human in 65 years.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
This is now the Conspiracy Boys podcast.
Who was president 65 years ago?
What was 65 years ago? Do the math. Tell me what year. What year was 65 years ago? Do the math. I'm not good at it.
I'm not good at math either.
See, you don't know who the president was because you don't know math.
Roasted.
I can tell you it was either Johnson or Nixon.
Yeah,
Oh my god. That's, I
Nixon-
forget that 65 is not as far away as it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Nixon was an old hound dog in a human mask.
Yeah.
Johnson.
That song, You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, it's about Nixon.
yeah.
True.
He's crying all the time.
That's why he had the jowls. What's the kind of dog with the big...
Yeah, Basset Hound.
He's a basset hound.
Yeah.
Didn't he own a... What was the dog he had?
Nixon's
Nixon.
dog?
He had a dog.
I think he had a dog, but I thought it was like a boxer, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Didn't every president have a dog except for
Except
Trump?
Trump. And I was just going to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
I think that's a bizarre thing that you can call out about this president.
Apparently he's
among
never
many
owned a
things.
pet.
He's never owned a
Animals
pet.
don't like him.
That's weird.
It's
Weird.
because he's a cockroach man.
What?
He
Animals
is a
don't
cockroach
like
man.
this person that doesn't have any empathy?
Yeah. I thought
Welcome
it
to the
was...
Joe Rogan podcast, everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next week we got Milo Yiannopoulos.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
Finally.
I don't know if I pronounced his name right, and I really don't care.
That guy's a piece of shit.
He's canceled.
Yeah.
He's been
We're going to
canceled.
execute him live on the show.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Fuck yeah. Wait, would that be a hate crime though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Only if
where...
we did it because he's gay, but we're doing it because he's
A
conservative.
shithead.
So
Yes, it's a hate crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still a hate crime, but a different kind of
We
hate
need to get
crime. And it's a hate crime that everybody can kind of get on board with.
I think so too.
In the Stalin sort of way.
We just need a gay guy and a conservative guy to help
Not in
us.
the Nazi way. In the
If
Stalin
we
way.
have a liberal gay guy execute Milo Yiannopoulos, then I think it's not. a
It
hate
balances
crime.
out.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
They cancel
They
each
cancel
other
each
out.
other. Yes.
It's fucked up. That's all.
What makes it just
getting
not a
cut.
hate crime, but it's still murder.
Oh yeah, just regular crime.
Doesn't
Oh,
cancel
it's
that.
regular.
I forgot
murder.
that it's still crime.
It's still a crime.
Just less hate. Involved.
Oh, they're going to prison.
Oh. You go to jail for murder if it's not a hate crime?
But it wasn't a hate crime.
Not if you're a cop.
I didn't even hate him.
I didn't even hate him that much.
That much.
That much. He was kind of a dick.
I mean, I hate everybody.
All right. Andreas was not a political man, though. He totally stayed out of politics. There was no way a far left or far right group wanted to kill Andreas Gruber for any reason.
Couldn't it be that he represented something to a far left or far right group, though? That because of his wealth, maybe?
Maybe, but you would think there'd be more evidence.
And they'd probably target somebody who's more politically active.
Right. Wouldn't they? I mean,
And on top, I feel
just
like
a nobody? Come on now.
it's a part of that where you'd want to send a message.
Right, wouldn't you? If you were some, like,
when you
group,
think, I don't know,
political
And
group?
this is
Right.
a weird
Maybe
message
not.
to send.
To
It
just
doesn't feel
kill
like
a nobody?
political.
Yeah, it doesn't feel political.
Yeah.
Yeah, because wouldn't there be, like, a written message or something explaining why they had done this if it was political?
No, that's fair.
Nothing like that was ever found. One woman, on her deathbed, years later, said that it was her ne'er-do-well brothers who had committed the crime.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, now,
Jesus, her ne'er-do-well.
yeah. Now, her brothers were shitheads.
So that murder was just locker room talk.
Yeah.
Just locker room murders.
Now, yeah.
The locker room murders. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Her brothers were shitheads, totally. But murderers, no.
And also, it's a particularly. It's not like they got shot.
No. And
Like,
and they were nowhere near the place at the time. Like, police quickly ruled that out. And it turns out that
They
this
would have
lady...
stolen money, too. Probably.
would've stolen
like,
money,
you're a
right.
ne'er-do-well, like, roustabout kind of
And
guy.
you got 4
you're gonna take
days?
more than...
You got 4 days to look around the place.
This is a weird crime.
So
This is a weird crime.
yeah, so it turns out that this lady was, like, wackadoo, too. Like, she made up stories about a lot of shit that was crazy. So she was kind of crazy. Just saying. And, of course, there's no way it could have been a murder-suicide. There's just
Yeah.
no way. There's
Right.
no way. Like
who's gonna hit themselves in the head with a?
with a magnet
Automatic
and then
or-
stack the bodies? I mean,
Right.
it just can't happen.
It would have had to been. Yeah,
The bodies were
been the
stacked and
2-year-old or the
covered.
mat.
It was Chris Benoit. He did it.
Oh, I knew it.
The WWE is completely behind this.
Oh.
I'm certain.
The WWE is the new world order.
Yeah.
NWO.
Yes.
Vince McMahon.
WWNWO.
Well,
that was the whole
remember,
thing, NWO.
WCW had NWO.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
New
their whole.
World Order.
Wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin in that?
I
I only remember
Hollywood
from the-
Hogan was.
Hollywood Hogan,
Booker
Sting,
T?
Sting.
Oh, Sting.
Yep.
and then there was like the red
Sting was the
NWO and
kiss
the
of
white
wrestlers.
NWO,
Right.
which I don't.
But he was great in Dune,
Nice.
right?
We're talking
Different
Sting.
Sting. He wasn't even that great in Dune. Just like disrobes. It's like his
Okay.
main thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah.
He's tantric.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Snickers, guaranteed to satisfy.
It wasn't long though before the police zeroed in on really the only logical suspect, Laurence Schlittenbauer.
I mean, that's what.
That's what I said.
Totally. I mean, come on, it's the only one. It's the
He's-
only one that has any sort of motive.
He was. Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, at least if this were a Law and Order episode, like, out of the characters we've been introduced to so far, he's the most likely culprit.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not
It's a
saying.
small
I'm
town
not
and
saying he
whatnot.
did it, but
He's
if
the one
I
that
were police, he'd be
Number one.
He'd be interviewed.
He's the one you introduce second, and like...
And he's moving
He
fast.
has an alibi that gets, like, totally fucked over by the end of the episode.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets fucked over by a guy named Red Herring.
Nice.
Thank you.
I get it.
Yeah, it's good.
They thought Red Herring had done it, but it turned out
It was a red herring.
it was
See, I
the
always
only
liked-
other guy.
I always
In the
liked
episode.
that there was that kids version of Scooby-Doo where there was a character named Red Herring, and
Is
he
that
was
true?
Is that
he
a
was
real
always
thing?
the person they accused first, but it was always not him.
That's fun.
Well, he was accusing me of murders.
I don't know. You're fucking creepy, dude.
And he had red hair.
Because you
Yeah.
might be a bit of
Is
a
it-
red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
was
how
really
in
mean.
Scooby Doo, the person who
It's the only other person
who
you
did
meet.
it was the only one in the other
Yeah.
person in the episode.
Yeah, you only have so many suspects. That's what I'm feeling like here is like
Yeah.
these people knew like one other guy because they were
That had been
clearly
involved with the family.
incestuous.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
at least allegedly so. It seemed like they were sticking to their own kind, except this one dude
Right.
who didn't like them.
Based
So-
off what you're telling me so far, we're not done with the episode. There's more information.
Totally.
I don't think it was him.
Schlittenbauer was a
Okay.
Bigfoot.
Okay. All right. So, seeing as there may have been, probably was, financial and familial animosity between the Grubers and Schlittenbauer, he had the motive.
Yeah.
He
Right.
knew his way around the house and
Yes.
the farm because of his relationship that he had had with Victoria.
He also
Sure.
probably might have been able to lead them to the barn.
Exactly.
Do a
Exactly.
personal relationship.
And the door to the maid's room, it was a weird handle. It actually lifted up and not down. And people that were with him noticed that when he walked up to the door, he lifted it up and not down, as you would instinctually do.
Right.
Interesting.
So that was. It doesn't prove anything,
You know what?
but it's
I'm going to
interesting.
tell you something. Those doors with the handles like this, not
Yeah,
like a
sideways.
round handle, a sideways handle.
Yeah.
I had a
Up and
coworker come up to me once, and he's like, "You know what's really weird? You open doors like that up."
You open doors up.
Yeah, I do.
So there you go. Maybe
They were like-
Schlittenbauer just does
Maybe
that.
you're a Bigfoot.
I am, but
Maybe Chris did it.
I did it.
Yeah. You killed that family.
I traveled backwards through time in the DeLorean, crashed into the barn, murdered the entire family, lived there for a bit, and fucking 86'd out the fuck out of there before people gave me that.
And you only took enough money to get McDonald's on the way back.
I didn't.
You're not a robber.
I was hoping that money would go to their next of kin. I didn't want to steal all of it.
But you killed all their next of kin.
I mean, there's probably aunts or uncles, right? I didn't know, man. I didn't fucking stick around long
You
enough.
weren't thinking about the kin, you were thinking about the killing.
I was thinking about that Burger King I was going to buy.
That you were hearing about, as if you'd never been there. You're like, I can't wait to get to this.
Well, he'd
Burger
never been
King.
to Burger King in the 90s, and that was the big appeal. He just overshot the time travel.
I mean, I have
By
been,
a lot.
I have been to Burger King in the 90s. Probably the 80s, too.
But you forgot what it was like, and
I
you
was
wanted
born
to
in
experience
83, man.
Trying
I 100% remember going to Burger King in the 90s.
Was it better?
Yeah.
No,
Ah.
it was worse.
It was the same?
Subway was better.
McDonald's
Was it?
is better.
I feel like
fries.
Subway's worse now because cost of ingredients has gone up,
Yeah.
and cost of sandwiches is trying not to go up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I feel like a lot of these faster and fast casual restaurants have gotten worse because of that.
I've heard never to eat a meatball sub from Subway
I don't
because
wanna
of
do that.
people that
I've
have
heard that
worked there.
too, and I eat it all the time.
Nice.
To shove it in their fucking face.
Good job, Chris.
I ate one recently. Like,
Good.
at least
Do it.
within the
Live
last
your
5
best
months.
life, Chris.
Dude, I'm the gross motherfucker that gets a tuna milk from Subway.
I've done that too. I've done that too.
Subway.
That's
Good,
gross.
man.
I've done both of them within the last 5 months. I don't know when because time has been a fucking blur since COVID. But in the COVID times, I have eaten both of those
That's
at different
great.
times.
Perfect.
Only because people tell you not to. I'm serious.
I believe
No,
you.
I know. That's definitely a Chris Whedon move.
Thank you.
It was also discovered that days prior to the murders, Victoria had donated a substantial amount of money to the church. Which isn't in of itself strange. It's just strange that it precedes her murder by days.
I mean, the church does love money. I don't know. Do we know which church?
It was their community
It's
church
probably
that they
there's
went to
probably
all the
one.
time.
It's such a
Yeah.
small community.
Right.
There's probably one
And
church.
she gave a lot of money to it. Like enough that people would go, wow, that's kind of a lot of money.
Right.
You know,
Enough that they noticed it.
they noticed it.
So Jesus did it.
Yep.
Jesus
As
Take
was a
the wheel.
Bigfoot.
Jesus
No.
confirmed. Jesus was a Bigfoot.
Jesus was the Zodiac killer. You heard it here first.
I don't have any evidence against it.
Jesus,
Yeah.
The Lord,
The Jesus.
our Lord and Savior.
the Lord and Savior, saved us from those kids on the beach in California.
Yeah, and those lovers,
Ugh.
those lovers at all this,
They had to go.
they had to go, according to Jesus.
Yeah.
The other men on the scene too, when they first showed up to look at Hinterkaifeck, they were like, this guy was, you know, because they were like taken aback by finding dead bodies, you know, and they were like, I don't really want to touch anything. It's kind of gross.
It's one
I mean,
of those
think
small
about it.
town things, like a hot
Yeah.
fuzz scenario where like
Right.
nobody's ever died in this town
Well,
before.
yeah, and
This
like,
is
well,
the
and I
grace
mean,
are good.
not like this.
well, and put yourself in these shoes. You found these bodies, dead bodies. Are you gonna
like
go
6 of them, including a child.
Yeah,
including multiple children?
Two children. Are you going to go rifling through the dead bodies? You're going to move the dead bodies? I don't know about you. I would not want to be anywhere near them.
I mean, I gotta see what's in their pockets. I've played too many RPGs to not loot.
I mean, it's like when you find a corpse that somebody else killed, you still loot it, right?
That's how I am.
Well,
how else do you continue?
In Red Dead Online, like
attacking
you go
your
up to a
enemies.
place
Right.
where somebody just like took out a fucking bandit camp, and they're looting the bodies, and you just start looting them, even though you didn't kill them, and they're pissed, and you just go,
They don't love it.
"What are you gonna do? I'm on defensive mode.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you shoot me, I can shoot you back in the fucking head because I've played the game way too long,
PvP.
and I got explosive revolver
Ammunition or whatever.
bullets."
Well, Schlittenbauer had no qualms about moving the bodies. In fact, he got right in there and started moving the bodies around. And these guys are like, "Whoa, dude," and the whole
You're
time,
really comfortable with these dead corpses?
yeah, and like the whole time, like they're like, "Are you?"
Also, you shouldn't be moving the bodies.
Yeah, are you sure you should be
It's the
you should be
20s, though.
moving them? And like, well, he said Schlittenbauer the whole time he's like, "I'm just looking for my boy. I'm just looking for my boy." I don't know why I gave him a southern
My
accent.
boy. Because he's Bavarian.
Because Bavarian is the Texas
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the
just looking for
Bavarian
my boy.
accent.
Yeah, just looking for my son. He was the one that got them inside the house. Like, there's all these other like sort of circumstantial things, that.
He got them into the. How did he get him? He got him in the house.
Yeah, he was the one that got them inside.
He got the search party into the house.
Yeah. And
So he had the extra set of keys.
Right. Right. That's what that heavily
Mm.
implies, right? That it was never confirmed exactly how he
Nobody
got
was
them
probably
in.
thinking about it.
Right.
But I think I did read one source, because the sources do kind of disagree. One source said that he opened it from the inside. Like, he appeared inside and then opened the door
Like
for
he'd
them.
already
Like,
been messing
welcome
around in
in.
there?
Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe he knew how to Jimmy open the window?
But here's the thing. If he was just looking for his son in the hay, taking the bodies out, why would he go through the bodies if he knew full well that the dead kid was upstairs?
You gotta put on a show.
Yeah, see, misdirection, right? But
So what
I
you're
don't
saying?
know, it's a little...
And the older, the younger, or I guess the sister, the young daughter, that
Yeah.
was from the previous marriage, not his kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
Did
his
he
kid.
view
The
her as his
2-year-old.
kid?
No.
The
No.
2-year-old is debatably his kid.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
There's not, but yeah, all right, sure, yeah.
did he know? I mean, hypothetically, if he knew nothing, if he's innocent,
Right.
At this point, when he's like, "I'm just trying to find my kid, my boy,"
Right.
Did he know the kid was in the crib at the
No.
time?
No, he immediately started rifling through the bodies.
So, hear me out. And this second time I try to defend this guy.
Go for it.
Maybe he knew it was his kid.
Well, even if he didn't know it was his kid, even
Or-
thinking that it might be yours, I could understand
think-
that reaction.
I think there's
Sure.
a possibility that here's what I think it's a middle ground between the.
Yeah.
I think the Andreas was probably. What's the nice way to say it?
He
not
was
being-
raping his daughter.
There's no right nice way to say it. You're right.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck that. He was raping his fucking daughter.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they two hated each other. They bounced. They don't know which.
They don't know the
that's
parentage.
the Occam's razor.
Yeah,
More
totally,
than likely, yeah,
totally.
that feels right.
I
Yeah.
think that's the truth. Like he bounced and he doesn't actually know, but it might be his son.
It might
he
be-
hears that there's murders, so he tries to find his son. Maybe he's in a panic.
Well, that's what they said. Is that
Did he see him?
you can take this behavior as to be just he's totally being hysteric. He's in
Right.
total hysterics, and that's why he's going through all the dead bodies. He's looking for the one child, right?
Sure.
And going to the stack of dead bodies and going through those dead bodies first, saying you're looking for the child in that sort of frame of mind, you would think that you wouldn't be able to fake that if you already knew full well that the person that you were looking for was already upstairs. If you had done that,
Right.
The truth is, if he had slept with her at all,
right?
then there's a chance that is his kid.
Sure.
Totally. Which
That's a fact. They have.
Yeah,
Of course
they
slept with her.
totally did. Come on.
So
now.
there's a chance that that's his kid.
You're right.
Right.
So if he is the murderer, he murdered his own child, which is
Which
fucked.
But here's another thing,
then
though.
I
pretended
don't
that
think it was
he-
him. That's what I'm kidding at.
Well, yeah, to act this way at the crime scene, and also, but there's also the other side of it, that the bodies were covered up,
Right.
and somebody without a motive, why would they bother to stack the bodies, cover them? They covered all of them, like covering the stack of bodies with hay, covering the child
Somebody
and the
without a
maid.
They
motive.
probably couldn't bear looking at the bodies.
Right,
They're like, if I'm gonna live in this
but
house, I don't wanna fucking-
somebody you don't know, somebody that without a motive. Why would you bother to cover the bodies?
Because
You
you're
know
living
what I
in the
mean?
house.
Yeah, but I mean they're upstairs. You have the whole ground floor
I
to
don't know.
yourself.
I don't buy that. That's
I just think it's weird.
the whole thing's weird.
Do you think
Yeah.
to conceal smell? To conceal? I think there could
Doubt
be
it.
reasons to not look at it when you go into the barn if you're living there for a while.
Right.
That's true.
I feel
Well,
like
well,
that's a
the
fair enough
people in the
reason.
house, I don't know. Just
It's really
strange.
hard for me to put my mind like somebody who brings an entire family into a barn, murders them systematically, and and
covers
stocks
them.
them up.
It's hard to be
really
like,
hard
what
for me to
logic does that person use?
What's the
Yeah,
logic in
it's-
murdering all these people?
Well,
Yeah.
and
and
then
taking
to
just a little bit of money, like
take a little bit of money
None of
and
it
then
makes sense
stack
to
them
me.
and then cover them. None of it makes a lick of sense.
Well, again, this is going to sound very off color, but I feel like it's a very German way of thinking for this killer.
gotta
Honestly,
organize them
honestly,
top
you're
to
not
bottom.
wrong. You're not
exactly.
wrong.
Yeah, being efficient in the killing and then organizing it in a sort of way where it makes sense
To me,
their killer
To
mind.
whatever,
That-
that makes sense.
Kind of where I'm at, where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean,
I don't.
it doesn't.
The
but
stacking them up and
Yeah.
hiding them, I don't think proves
It doesn't
if somebody
prove anything.
knew them or not, or it doesn't really. It doesn't
doesn't-
mean anything.
it doesn't
Guarantee
prove
anything.
anything.
It doesn't say
Either way.
anything.
But
It's weird,
usually-
but it doesn't.
But usually, when killers cover their corpses or doing something like that, it's because they have some sort of emotional tie.
Right.
You know, usually, and we only know
Or
this from hindsight.
You kill a
but-
bunch of fucking livestock and you throw it in the corner.
Well, they didn't kill the livestock.
No,
they
I'm
kept the
saying
livestock
he's
alive.
viewing them as livestock.
Right,
There,
right.
I
Yeah,
did
sure.
air quotes. You couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. Maybe he's saving them for later. It's gonna eat 'em.
Ooh, Hannibal style.
Now, let me throw more wrenches into
Mm-hmm.
the cogs here. Schlittenbauer was questioned by the police several times over the years, and he could never really be placed at the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Two odd details, though. His wife, and their home was nearby, it was close by, said that she knew that he was not there that night. Because that night, Laurence had told his wife that he was sleeping in the barn.
Oh, that's weird.
But
That is weird.
Now let me ask you though.
Doesn't prove anything.
Well,
but it's weird.
no, it is very weird that on that day he was sleeping in the barn conveniently. But that still doesn't explain the newspaper, the footsteps, the sounds, all of that stuff.
Right.
Because that would mean that he would have to be in this home
A lot.
at night a lot without his wife knowing.
Right.
Did he have alibis for any of those? Is it
I
possible
honestly-
that he was sneaking into the house?
I don't think they had that.
I,
being a
honestly,
fucking
I honestly
weirdo?
don't think the cops ever asked about that. I don't know how much of that the cops
Well, this
knew.
is also
yeah, this is the
before
20s,
profiling.
like,
Yeah.
This
exactly.
was-
Like,
before profiling, before any of that, so I don't even think he was questioned on that. So there was no proof that, and Schlittenbauer was never charged at all. Years after the murders, he would go back and forth. When he would talk to people, he would go back and forth on the parentage of Yosef. Claiming to be the father and then saying, I'm not the father. He'd go back and forth.
I feel
on
like that supports what
Yeah.
I thought. It's like, how would you really know?
this does make him unreliable in the
He's-
fact that he seems to be a person who's jumping back and forth in how he views a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, but to me, looking at how the way he reacts to things as if he's not the murderer makes a lot more sense to me than the way he would be if he was the murderer. However, it's hard for me to put my
Right. Everyone might act differently. Like, it's hard
Well,
to
just-
say.
If
I
you've
mean-
gotten to that point, you've
If-
gone
let's
beyond
say-
what I know how to.
Let's say you were
conceive.
dating
Right.
dating a girl. She got pregnant. You find out that
It's not you.
I killed
Well,
myself.
you don't know.
Yeah, it's her dad raping her, though.
Her dad is raping her, so it
Yeah.
could be an incestuous child. It could not be. You don't
Think about
know.
how much you would hate that guy.
Yeah. So you get
You
in an
know.
argument. You fucking
lot.
get kicked out. You leave. Then you find out they all got murdered, including the child who might be yours.
Well,
might be
it's
his.
not that you find out. It's that you find out that the whole place is quiet, and you're one of the first people that leads the
But you
party.
know
down
that-
there.
Discover a dead child that could be yours.
Well,
which is
also,
even worse.
You look
Okay,
for
so
one.
Right.
you discover, you hear the whole place,
Something's going on down there. Yeah,
and there's a 50-50 chance that the kid there is your son.
yeah.
Like, come on, man. Wouldn't you, like,
Totally.
want to know what's going on?
Absolutely.
And
Right.
maybe, and
Absolutely.
this is before CSI and shit, so you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to go over there. Of
I
course
need to
he's
do
gonna
this.
know.
I need to look for the baby.
He was there for a long time. Of course he knew how to open the fucking maid's thing. That doesn't mean anything.
Again, like just the fact that he knew his way around the farm,
that doesn't mean shit.
that doesn't mean shit. That
Right.
proves
If
nothing.
anything, it means that he had some good blood between these.
And to be
folks.
Exactly, that he wasn't a
understands the
complete
place.
monster, right? But it also
He may have shown
can be
up.
evidence for the other side, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. But the fact that, like, he would just go in, it didn't even occur to him that they would think he... Well, he also didn't think that... If he didn't think they'd be murdered, he just heard they're missing, he might just go in. Right?
True.
Maybe he does have keys.
True.
Maybe he was the one who stole those keys, and that's the only thing he did. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't think it was him.
Well, most people to this day think of Laurence Schlittenbauer as the only person that could have done it. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know, man.
there's another theory. This one's my favorite
like this
theory.
theory. I like
this
this
one's
theory.
my
I
favorite.
haven't heard this, but I have.
This is by far the scariest
Yeah.
reality that could have gone down.
I think this
If-
is the most realistic one.
Really? Well, it's my favorite because it's the most horrifying. It's the most scary,
That's fucked up.
scary theory. This theory says that it was a vagrant mystery man who came from somewhere else, and this would explain the newspaper and the footsteps coming out of the forest into the house.
Right.
There's just some guy,
The footprints,
and
right?
the footprints,
Yeah.
Yeah, then the
and the newspaper.
yeah, from somewhere else.
And that he hid inside the Grubers' own home and bided his time until he had a plan and the opportunity to massacre all of them, sit down for a second, eat a few meals, hot meals, and then leave.
Yep.
That's-
Yeah.
It is kind of what I think happened.
It is the most terrifying, bone-chilling.
No,
Because
Yeah,
it's not like
theory.
there's no precedent for that in reality in other
That it's some
stories.
psychopath.
Those things
Yeah,
happen.
those
Yeah,
things happen.
It was a.
And this is a long time ago before that
Do you
kind of
remember
shit
when I said I
happened
had a
all the time.
theory?
Yeah.
And I was saving for the end.
Yeah.
You fucking hit it on the
Yeah.
head.
So also
Newspaper from somewhere else.
Newspaper somewhere
Somebody
else.
Weird footprints
Weird
that go in and
footprints,
don't go out.
Stole
Right.
the keys, feeding the dog.
Hiding in the
Some
attic.
fucking drifter just moved in, hung out, hid around, and then murdered the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard stories
mean-
of like the small Japanese woman who was hiding in the attic,
Right,
and
yeah,
living for
right.
a very
happens.
long time.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
an impossibility, and it's probably even less of an impossibility in this.
And we don't know.
Well, and the maid running from the house screaming, like all of these things. Like, again, in fact, if it took place over the course of 6 months, that would go more so to the vagrant mystery man case. Because there's no way Schlittenbauer could have hid out for 6 months.
Right,
Absolutely
yeah.
not. And 1 month is a stretch for Schlittenbauer.
me-
Motherfucker has his own life.
Right.
Hard to...
just because you
know.
can't place him on the night of the murder. I mean,
yeah. Whoever was hiding
unless
in their
there's the
house...
weird case where
Yeah.
somebody's hiding. A drifter was hiding in the house, hanging out,
Yeah.
feeding the animals, and
Yeah.
he's just hanging out, and he's like hiding in the attic, and suddenly
Yeah. In the
Schlesinger comes
walls.
in and murders the whole family, and he's like, "Oh, no!"
And that's
He
the
doesn't
other
want to
thing is
stack
like
the bodies, I don't know.
he
Maybe.
Why would he kill his own kid, though?
wouldn't
I don't know.
also wouldn't like even if he were to be the one to do that. Did he hang around in that house for 4 days and
Well,
his wife didn't notice this?
Right.
Like that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Exactly. This is why
I feel like the vagrant or the unknown.
It was a drifter, man.
Mystery Man.
It was a drifter.
Especially
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Especially right after the
it was
war.
Henry Lee Lucas.
Think about this. Right after the war, Germany is a broken country.
Yeah.
Sure.
The home that you're going back to, if you're like a German infantryman that survived the war, is probably non-existent or totally gone.
And
it would
can you
be-
imagine the
you-
PTSD?
You got to think
Right.
that certain personality types might,
break.
break. and go off and do their own thing.
They're not getting therapy. There's no treatment.
Well, don't
here
you
at
think
this
there's
time.
No such. They call it shell
Don't you
shock.
think there's
back
a
then.
random guy?
And in
who
Germany,
already-
it had
Did they
to be
even
worse.
call it that then in the 20s?
Yeah, they did.
Okay,
Shell shock
Shell
is
shock
a
came out
is,
of World War I.
is a World
Okay,
War
I didn't
One
realize that. I
term,
thought it was a
but
good
but
thing.
that's on the Western side. That's not necessarily a German term. I don't even know if the Germans did have a term for it.
I certainly
true.
don't.
By the
I don't
way,
know
by the
enough
way,
about it.
if any of our listeners do know if the Germans had a term for PTSD in World War One, please let us know. Our email address is historyboyspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know, because I would actually really
That's
like
actually would be
to know
really
that.
interesting.
Yeah,
Because we know a lot about the
American and British
American,
side.
British, French side of that war. That's actually why I think this is interesting. When you're like, oh, he's fighting on the Western Front. I was like, oh, yeah, he's German.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
right. Yeah,
But like, don't you think that like somebody already has maybe isn't mentally stable? Of course, they're young. They're going to be thrown in the trenches. Maybe they get a head injury while
Yeah.
they're in the war. They come back. They're all fucked
Well,
up.
and it
They're
would-
fucked up with PTSD.
it
and
would
all this
explain-
shit. Their home is destroyed.
And it would
they have nowhere to
explain-
go.
it would explain why they didn't take a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
again, Schlittenbauer, he still has sort of a financial money
Because there's always the
motive.
alimony thing.
Why didn't he take the money?
I don't
If
think it was
he
about
always
the money.
resented, if he always resented Andreas, why didn't he take the money?
I
Like
just think
financially,
he probably just took
Right.
some fucking cash out of their pockets.
It
Yeah.
feels like one of those violent crimes that you'd particularly hear about in like the 60s, 70s, where it's
Yeah.
like something very extreme happened, and it was probably some guy who was, got hit on the head at some point in his life,
Right.
was wetting the bed for a while, and
Right.
and was really hard to lock down because he just
As a
did
kid,
random
he
shit.
loved.
and
He-
wanted to join the military so he could have a gun and kill people.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you didn't get to choose whether you joined the military.
Not in Germany, no. But he probably liked it.
Maybe.
This mystery man that we're talking
we're-
about.
Or at the
Right.
very least was affected by.
affected by it.
I can't say for
profoundly.
sure, but I just
Who knows? Who knows?
I think the Occam's razor, as I said, it's a fucking drifter.
Yeah,
I mean-
I would have to agree with that.
It's my favorite one.
It's got a very
Makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it feels most likely to me.
and it also feels like fucking like Halloween, like Jason.
oh
coming
yeah.
to-
Oh, it's
yeah.
so
A-
scary.
a
It's a
slasher.
scary,
Right.
gruesome
Just-
thing.
just
The scary,
living in
gruesome
your
things
attic?
happen.
Right, yeah.
And that
That's
shit has happened.
insane.
In modern times,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit
Well,
BTK
still
is
happens.
So scary.
Yeah.
Well, BTK. Well, yeah, he
Though
did
he would
hide.
hide in people's
He did
homes.
hide in
Yeah.
the closet, but it wasn't for months
And this is
on
why I
end.
lock my doors and
No.
windows every fucking time.
No,
I'm
but
at
I'm just
home.
saying.
You should.
Yeah.
No, it's not out of the realm of
Yeah,
possibility.
people have been hiding in cupboards and attics
Yeah.
for a very long
Well,
time
yeah.
and making it work.
I mean,
Yeah.
in this time period, it just seems like it'd be easier to get away with it now, for sure.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
time.
like
Especially
coming
if
off
you
of
sit there
war
and
where everything's.
especially
so
if you
much
like
is
live
fucked.
there for a little while. You again, you have a couple of hot meals. You feed
I mean,
the,
there were a lot of
Parasite.
places.
yeah,
That
yeah.
were,
You feed the animals to not raise suspicion. Again, the male was probably an oversight
Right.
on his part.
probably didn't think. I think you're right.
Yeah.
No, I
think he
mean-
just didn't think about the male and didn't bring it
Fuck.
in.
Yeah, I mean,
He probably-
especially possible if this is a head injury guy,
Yeah.
guy who'd gotten a head injury in the war. Anyone who's listened to any fucking true crime anything
Right.
knows that frontal lobe damage causes this sort of violence
Right.
without a whole lot of reason behind it.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And-
They get their thoughts inside their head that won't go away and things like that.
And this
Yeah.
is a time where I imagine injuries like that were
Prevalent.
entirely prevalent.
I mean, and we don't even fully understand the amount of like gas affected people.
Totally,
Right.
totally.
I mean,
there's
even
been
like-
several, like the guy in our Elliot Ness episode, Dr. Sweeney. He was exposed to gas.
Yep.
And he completely lost his mind after he came
That
home
guy
from
did
the
that
war.
shit.
That guy,
That I think.
I believe,
Yes.
absolutely killed those people.
I think so.
Absolutely.
In this case with fucking Laurence, I don't buy it.
Okay.
It makes no sense to me. Like,
I'm
I'm not saying he didn't do it, but
yeah.
and obviously he'd be the one to question.
Well, I mean, it's just so crazy that the most obvious person who could have done this, and Laurence Schlittenbauer is, but it's
He
like,
is.
it's like, for some reason, I don't buy it.
There's still a lot of things that
buy
don't make
it.
sense. The
Like,
stealing any amount of money, like
and Schlittenbauer just like from all of his arguments with Andreas, like he just he sounds like more of a level-headed dude than Andreas.
Well, I think Andreas
sounds,
is a monster.
Andreas
Who
was
I
a
think
monster.
was raping his daughter.
Oh
Right.
yeah, Andreas was a monster.
It's-
I believe, but I think that Schlittenbauer was smarter, and like had a better head on his shoulders. Just from what I gather from their relationship,
I think he got the
Right.
fuck out
Yeah.
because that family was psycho.
and
Well,
heard that,
he-
that it's all quiet at the house, and was
Yeah.
like,
And he
"Oh
knows
shit, that might be my
50-50, that's
son.
it.
Right.
I gotta go.
And he
I gotta
panicked.
check this out." And he panicked.
Even if he had access to get in, maybe he did
He
have a set
knew-
of keys.
Honestly, he could have known a window, crawled in without their knowledge.
Yeah, because
and,
your fucking
So,
son,
you've been
2-year-old
there.
son, might have just been murdered.
Yeah.
What if
Right.
Andreas? All right. What if Andreas kills the son for reasons? There are plenty of reasons that sort of thing could happen, and then Laurence comes in and kills the rest of the family.
That's a bonkers story.
It is, but there's a lot of weird feelings. If there's a strange parentage for this son, where we don't know, like I guess you could posit like what kind of relationship did Andreas and Victoria have, and that's the kind of thing where you're like,
It's kinda
was it
silent.
a weird consensual, or not
He was
actually
He
consensual?
was an abusive man.
Yes, but there are not
There were
consensual is the
abusive-
wrong word.
I know what you mean.
But like what's her
beaten
name?
down
For
sort of.
from the Mamas and the Papas, the Phillips. There's
Yes,
the
yes.
argument. There's one of his daughters says that they had this weird. Like she
Tension.
thought was consensual at a certain point in time,
Right.
Yes.
but obviously wasn't the older she got.
Yes.
No,
relationship
she was-
with her father.
She was okay. Now think about this though.
Well, I think a lot of victims.
So
of,
when Joseph
incest.
when Joseph
Exactly.
when Joseph was born, she was only 33. She was 33 years old. She was an adult woman.
Right.
So
So, like, was it something of
Oh, yeah.
that evolved from some weird, I don't know what
I
this
don't
is,
know.
relationship and some sort of conflict between Andreas and
and
Laurence?
one thing
I
with
don't
what
know.
you're saying,
Culminated?
Andrew,
I don't know.
I do know that in an abusive relationship, an abusive incestuous relationship, there is situations where somebody is made to they're gaslighted,
Right.
and
Yes,
manipulated into thinking it's consensual.
Totally.
Right.
or
Very
manipulated into thinking that they would be wrong
Yeah.
to call this unconsensual.
Yes.
Right.
And it does happen, and it's fucking tragic, and these people are victims.
But the thing is still none of this is proven. Like the thing is Andreas could have absolutely just been accused of these crimes and not actually
Entirely. Yeah.
done them. Because again, like
Yeah.
kind of a well-off guy in town, there's people that resent you. Schlittenbauer definitely resents you because of your money.
Maybe-
And the money that you are now expecting me to pay, even though you already have the rest, like the most money out
to
of
be
anyone
honest,
in town.
if Schlittenbauer made up the incestuous thing,
Yeah.
then it means that kid is definitely his.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And that means his motivation.
And I feel like
yeah.
his motivation is even less. Like he's not going to kill that kid.
I-
And
I-
think
I can't see
his
Schlittenbauer
motivation makes
in
more
any-
sense that he would panic and go into the place.
That's my problem. I don't think Schlittenbauer in any circumstance would have killed his own child.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
But could
or
Andreas have
perspective.
killed that child?
No.
Maybe thinking that it was
No,
his
no.
and finding out that
Well,
it
here's-
wasn't.
So then,
No.
what? Laurence
It's an
would
interesting
just,
point.
like kill in an act of passion. That I don't understand.
No. Just none of that makes any sense.
He's rifling through all the bodies and is trying to find his kid. If he already knew that homeboy
Why-
already
yeah,
killed
That's a
the
good point.
kid,
Yeah.
But
no,
also,
no,
that doesn't make any
also
sense.
that would make for
Well, that-
the random night that Andreas decided to murder his 2-year-old son is the same night that
Schlittenbauer comes over. Yeah, well-
Schlittenbauer.
well, the thing is
I want
like
Lau-
that-
I'm going to say Lorenz because he fucked up the name. The same night that he happens to show up
Yeah,
to
come on.
happen to find out.
Right.
Well,
It
that-
would require a lot of strange coincidences, but because of this how odd this case is, who fucking
To
knows?
me,
You know,
it's a goddamn drifter.
I do think that's most
Well,
likely.
well, okay.
But it's
So here's
interesting to
here's
try
here's
to
What's the name of
understand
that one serial killer? Carl Panzram.
right.
I think it's a.
Here-
I don't think it's him, but I think it's that style.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's maybe. But you know, he did shit like that.
Right.
Henry Lee Lucas, like, I think they're just random drifter killers.
Yeah, it is. That is
It
a
makes
reality,
so
and we
much
know
more
that's a
sense to me.
reality.
Well, with the way that Schlittenbauer acted on the scene, I don't buy that he killed his own kid, or something that could be construed at his own as his own kid.
Do we know?
And on Andreas, I don't see how that would make sense that he would have anything to do with it. I don't see how that would make a lick of sense. Just because of how they were dressed, you can determine an order as to who went out into the barn, the way they were covered, the way they were stacked, things like this. Like,
the one
me,
weird thing
it's
is,
fairly-
how
it's-
would
it's
a
clear that
random
it's not.
drifter get them out to the barn?
Oh,
that
funny
is
games.
so okay.
Yeah,
So check this out. To me, one of the creepiest things is getting each one of them out one by
I
one.
think that's bizarre, and the not taking the money is a bizarre. That's a bizarre thing for a random drifter too, because you'd think the dude would be like, "There's
See?
tons of shit around here. I want to take it all."
But I also think that even if it was,
But if he's a little
Laurence,
crazy-
it would be all the money or no the money. Like
Exactly.
I think this,
Why would he take
the
pocket
random drifter?
change?
Might be losing his goddamn mind and just
Yeah.
rifling
Why'd he
through their
take
fucking
pocket
pockets.
change?
Very well
Yeah.
To me,
could be.
that makes more sense.
It does. Yeah, it does
Yeah.
make more
It's
sense.
weird.
It's-
Don't get me wrong.
I have a sneaking suspicion that that this drifter killer, the way that he was able to lure them out one by one, makes some sort of weird noise while they're eating.
Right, and
so then
all you
so
have
then,
to
of
do is
course,
make a
you know,
noise.
yeah.
We've seen horror movies.
So then, Papa Bear is like, all right, well, I better go and investigate. And then the
Doesn't
fact that
come
he
back.
doesn't come back, and then it's like, okay.
tick, 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 or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Mama Bear goes and checks.
Isn't that horrifying to
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
about?
that's super terrifying.
Because at a certain point, like if you're little Celia, 7-year-old Celia, you've seen your grandfather go out. Mm-hmm. You've seen your grandmother go out.
So
You've
your
seen your
mom go out.
mother go out.
and none of them
And
came back.
now you're alone. Because upstairs the
Is
maid
the
is
maid-
taking the maid is taking care of the baby.
Right.
Like the 2-year-old. And so you're alone now.
So you
You're
guys see what's-
spooked.
And you yourself go out there to see what's going on. Like I feel so horribly for this little girl because the fear she must have had
Right.
going to the barn must have been insane. And the fact that she survived the initial blow to the head
Ugh, I
is
don't wanna-
fucking insane.
God.
So this person, whoever did it, was so cold. And actually, there's a detail I actually kind of forgot to mention, is that Victoria had other marks on her that did not cause her death. She showed signs of strangulation,
What the fuck?
but that did not cause her death.
Well, that's interesting. That's very.
And that points to Schlittenbauer.
it does
Because that's a
very
crime of
personal
passion.
crime.
Right.
Yeah. That
Or-
more damage was done to her body.
I
her
think there are-
father choked her out.
it's entirely
This is
possible
also
that either
true.
of these, obviously, whether or not you
Like
know,
maybe
it's-
he mistook his own wife for Victoria and hit her over the head.
Or I mean, we know this is a very abusive man who, if he's raping his
Yeah,
daughter,
this is true.
What
it's
could've
not
been-
out of the realm of possibility.
He could've been
strangling her is
choking her
not
out.
with the-
Fuck.
He could have been choking her out
when
earlier
Laurence
that
walks
day.
in.
Or not even Laurence.
Not
like,
even
that
Lawrence,
too, yeah.
but just him.
He could have
Yeah.
been choking her out earlier because
This
he's
is true.
probably an abusive piece of shit. And then fucking.
I still think it's the drifter killer.
No, I think it's a drifter.
Yeah. I think
it's the most
Random
likely
drifter is
option.
hanging out in the barn
Yeah.
at the time,
But it's
and he
interesting to
trips
consider.
and knocks a bunch of shit over. And he's like, "Oh fuck, I was trying to live in secret." I'm kind of serious. I know I'm
Yeah,
at it
I
as
know,
a
I
joke,
know, I
but
know.
like maybe that. And they're like, "Oh, I was choking out my daughter real quick," but I'm hearing. But I'm hearing fucking. I'm not trying to make light of
I
it.
know, I know.
Holy shit, somebody's in our barn. I'm gonna check it out. He gets murdered, and then the
And
next
then-
people check it
right.
out, and that's the progression of events. To me, that makes...
I don't think that happened. It happened that way. I
I
think
can
it was a
also
drifter.
see that though.
No, I think it was a drifter. I said it
I
was
think it was
a
a drifter that finally got the keys to the barn.
Right.
Finally got the Matic, and then
No,
somehow
I think it was a drifter.
lured them out.
I'm just saying.
So with a botched investigation, because the cops really had a hard time investigating that murder scene.
The John Benet Rhymes did it.
Right. Yeah. And
They were making snacks.
Well, the
making
mechanic.
snacks.
important.
Yeah.
The mechanic. That was there.
Yeah.
He wasn't interviewed until years later. Years later.
It's like,
The
yeah, they
mechanic
still
did it.
haven't paid me.
Yeah. Right.
In their defense, this is like
The mechanic was
rural
also
butt-fuck
Bigfoot.
nowhere after one of the worst... Well, at the time, the worst
World
worst
War.
war
in
in history.
The
right.
Great
Right.
War.
Right.
The Great War.
So great that
That they
Everything
just
was
together.
lost. Yeah.
Everything's fucked. Like, they don't really know how... They don't know about profiling. They don't know what a serial killer is.
And if you didn't see it happen, then it's like, well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
None of us would have done better, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
No, certainly not. And yeah,
Yeah, it's not one of those stories where it's like, shoddy police work really fucked this over, other than, again, all the snack making.
The snack making, the
That's weird.
traipsing through the crime scene, all that stuff.
I just didn't
It's
know
not
that.
great, but it's, it was 1922, so,
I don't feel like it was
it's not like it happening in
laziness.
1988.
Yeah.
It was
where they know
ignorance.
fucking better.
Well, I think people of the time didn't know any better. I think the cops knew, but the people of the time did not
No.
know that you're not supposed to touch a bunch of
Right.
shit at a crime scene. You know, people didn't know that.
Right.
And you know what? They interviewed over 100 suspects. Could link no one to the crime. Not a single one.
Sounds about right.
Love to know more about those suspects and how they picked them. That'd be
There
like,
isn't really a list or anything.
They just like go through people in that town.
I
Like,
don't know.
100 is a
I'm guessing
lot for
it
them
is
to
a
be
lot.
like, we don't know anyone connected to this,
Yeah.
but
We don't
There's
have a way of
probably 100
profiling
people
either.
in that
Yeah.
village, so they're just like, let's just interview
See,
everyone.
yeah, I
I know.
honestly think it's people of a
Which-
certain age in that village. Honestly,
lends merit to the drifter idea of somebody
Right.
who shows up, fucks off, and you can't
that's
interview.
it. You can't do them. You
Right.
can't do it anymore. And actually, the last time a suspect was interviewed was 1983.
Wow.
Whoa.
Euro was born.
It's an
There you go.
open fucking case. Like that's
Yeah.
That's
Well,
on
they
for a long
closed
time.
it, but there was people that were still interested. You know, because I mean, this case, I mean, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Golden
Uh,
State Killer got solved.
right.
What 40 years after?
40-some. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I think whoever did this is dead now.
Oh, sorry. sorry.
More than likely.
The person in 1983 was older than fuck in 1983. So there you go.
Shriv.
Yeah.
Now, after, of course, they did autopsies on the Grubers, and you know this is how they determined certain times of death, causes of death, things like this.
Sure.
You know, when they found the hair and everything, this is where they found that. The heads were also taken off
Like
during this
decapitated?
process. Well, the heads were taken off during the autopsy to be
alright.
studied, to study the skulls and whatnot.
Fair enough.
Because it would be useful
Sure,
to help
yeah.
always like narrow down.
They were all head injuries that killed, or
Yeah,
mostly.
the matic to the head.
Yeah, Right,
But
yeah.
there was a couple of misses, you know, to the body and whatnot, you know, in the shoulders, things like this.
Yeah, you're swinging it.
Yeah.
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 Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
That's what he said every time he didn't hit the head.
Hey, bada bada bada.
Babe Ruth.
the skulls of the Grubers were actually taken to Nuremberg. But in the maelstrom of World War II, the skulls of the Grubers were all lost. So we don't have that forensic evidence anymore. But really before anyone could really ever study it with
The
modern
most
lenses.
complete Spinosaurus skeleton was in Germany. It was destroyed during World War
yeah,
II.
yeah,
Until recently. I think they've recently found more.
right.
I do know
They've
that
learned more about that they actually think they're aquatic animals. Spinosaurus.
there were a lot of scientific discoveries destroyed in Germany over this period of time.
Yes, yes.
I actually listened to a Behind the Bastards with Robert Evans that covered pre World War. I think it was pre World War I Germany, and how it was kind of trending into like extreme social liberalism, and and there were even there's even evidence of things like transgender people, information and studies about those folks that were burned during this period
I
of time.
bet.
Just
Right.
purge all
Totally
that information,
purged, yeah.
which is why to this now where we're all like, what? Well, not we're all like, but I mean, like, there are so many people like,
Yeah.
oh my, what is this? This is new. I've never heard of this before.
Right.
We don't
It was
have the
never
info.
new.
But there was for
yeah.
a long time and got destroyed
And then got
because so
erased.
much shit was purged during this period of time in
Right,
Germany,
right.
and
A lot of things were lost. A lot of things were
really
lost
interesting.
forever, including the Gruber's skulls, I should say. And the farm at Hinterkaifeck was demolished a year after the murders had taken place. This is actually when they found the matic, the murder weapon.
Whoa.
A year afterwards, when they were demolishing the whole place, that's when they were like, "Here it is, guys."
do you know how they connected it? Like how they did definitively anywhere?
Well, because they did know that there were these star-shaped wounds in their head, in their skulls. It's basically star-shaped is a generous term. Honestly, it's more of a T shape.
Right, yeah.
It's a T shape, like a matic, right? If you look at a picture of a matic, you'll see the
I
shape.
googled Dematic.
Yeah, yeah,
while we were
of
doing
what
this.
it looks like, and yeah, it's accurate, you know, and it is
Right.
this one. You know what I mean?
It also didn't help that, there was flakes of red all
There's
over it.
probably blood all over it. Yeah, dried
Maybe
blood
brown
all
by
over
that
it.
point, but
Right.
But blood nonetheless.
yeah, blood.
So now, to this day, on the spot of where the Grubers' home, Hinterkaifeck, used to be, there is a marker that is a memorial shrine that basically memorializes the Gruber family and says this is where this family was murdered. Yeah, it's still there to this day. You can find pictures of it.
Let's go. Once the world's not on fire, let's go and check out Hinterkaifeck.
There's another thing. It's still a very small rural community.
You gotta get
I
out
don't.
there to
I
get
honestly,
there.
I tried looking to see how friendly that town is to people visiting for this reason. I couldn't
I would
find.
imagine.
I couldn't find anything
If
because
it's a small rural town,
I'd imagine that they're not super cool
This is
with
all
it.
they're known
Sure.
for.
You know, so like,
oh, this is the town where that family got brutally murdered.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I got 2 Bavarian buddies in Germany, so like I could just
Well,
talk to
okay,
them.
so there
and
you
be
go.
like,
That's easy.
Hey,
This is known as the Hinterkaifeck Massacre, right? Like
Hinterkaifeck Murders.
Or murder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
the Battle of Hinterkaifeck.
Yeah, United States this shit up. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So there you go.
Shit's
Well,
fucked up.
that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Pretty fucked up, Jerry.
Scary.
Yeah, Jerry. That was spooky. Especially when the children got murdered.
Yeah.
I like the part with the Bigfoot.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we learned today is every president in the last 65 years was some sort of animal creature.
And lock your doors. We also learned that.
Also, lucky doors.
Donald
Learned
Trump-
lock your doors regularly.
Is a giant roach alien, and if you don't lock your doors, he will sneak in,
Oh,
live
he's-
there for a few months, and then murder your entire family.
He'll do it. I've seen
Obama,
it happen.
Lizard Man, he'll do the same thing.
Differently, but same.
He'll murder you in different ways.
He'll use his tongue.
Yeah.
Roaches, they don't have tongues.
Right?
Probably.
Can't do it.
I don't think they do.
I don't know enough about bugs, but
Lizards have tongues. You know who else has tongues? Big feets.
Big feats. That's
So-
right. And George Bush was a big feat,
He was
and
a
he
big
caused
feet.
9/11
and he caused 9/11.
Yeah.
Like Rampage, the video game.
for Bigfoot reasons.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
He punched those buildings down.
He punched him down.
Yeah.
Can I just say real quick, we have another Patreon subscriber, $5 a month level.
Woo! Big
Let's
Take a
hear
shout
it.
out.
Let's hear it for Brandon.
Brandon!
Brandon's great. Brandon went to the same for-profit institution that me and Zach went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it on the Discord, and if you want to be on the Discord, you want to talk to us,
Or a for-profit institution.
well, then you can go to a for-profit
Go
institution.
to Whedon,
I would not recommend it.
Whedon University.
But if you want to talk to,
.com.
if you want to talk to us and have further conversations with us, you can get on our Discord by donating Patreon. And what are those levels, Zach?
All right, so at $1, you'll be able to get access to our Discord. At $5, you'll get access to the Discord, and you'll get a personalized shout-out. Like
Yeah,
what we just
like
did for
Brandon did.
Brandon.
Yeah, and we did for Jenny just because she was number one.
Yeah,
She's
she's
the
the
first one.
Jenny's
Jenny's
special.
great.
She was our first patron.
Patreon, yeah, person, yeah.
Exactly. And then at the $10 level, you get all of the above, plus you get access to exclusive content.
Which there
and
is none of yet.
I have some ideas.
But there will
that-
be.
Oh, we have a lot of ideas.
We got plenty of ideas.
I've edited a few things I could throw up there.
I think
this
there's
is also true.
there's one thing in particular that Jerry and I were talking about
Ooh.
in a drunken haze last night.
I
It's gonna
can't
be
wait
good.
to hear about it.
I know.
It's
It's pretty
Jerry,
funny.
It's Jerry reading something that happened 3 years ago.
3 years ago, I was
Oh.
basically I was live Facebooking what was happening. I was sitting. I'll just give you the broad. So I won't tell you what's happening.
Oh my god, it's
but
hilarious.
I'll tell you. I was sitting at a bar by myself,
I know this story.
and
At our
and
local
I
watering
was-
hole.
Yes, at HistoryBoiz HQ, which is the rendezvous in Seattle. I was sitting there by myself, and I was overhearing a conversation.
Is this
And it's the fucking hilarious.
Is this
it's
jazz?
so great.
Yes.
Oh.
It's so good.
That's all
it's
you
real
get.
good.
But
It's real good.
we might release that as like bonus content.
We're also
like,
going to
going
re-release
through the story. Yeah.
all of the episodes, but with me dubbing over Tyler's parts. I'm going to say the exact same words as him, but it's going to be me in case you like me better.
Yeah.
Far more racial experts.
Oh no! Now our audience is going to be polarized. There's going to be Tyler people and there's going to be Andrew people.
Can't
Well,
wait.
we already know that there's one person that hates Tyler.
At least
so
one.
There's one guy that got a Twitter to tell us how much he hated Tyler, which honestly does not offend me at all.
If anything,
Honestly, that's flattering.
Yeah, there's something special.
Nobody liked that more than Tyler.
No, dude. the fact that the dude still listened to every episode is like, wow, thank you so much. The fact that you hate one of us so much and still listen to every
It's
episode.
so good. I love it.
Well, how much does that say for me and you? You know, and Chris.
that person is a real hero.
Yeah,
He's a mensch.
totally. Totally.
Thank you. If you're out there still listening to us,
If you're still
thank
listening.
you so much.
Yeah,
Your hatred for Tyler fuels us as it fuels
it does.
any
It
of
also
us.
Fun
fuels Tyler.
fact, when I read that, I immediately texted Andrew here.
Yeah,
He
he's
was like, that guy doesn't get the
he's
show.
like, check this out. And I'm like, top
Yeah.
notch.
Yeah. So that's fucking creepy. That's a great way to kick off our creepy month.
It is.
It's gonna be spooky times.
It was a fucking drifter. I thought that the whole time.
That's my
Yeah.
feeling. I
It's
do
this
feel like
one-
it's
yeah.
the most likely
It's a
scenario,
drifter
but
with
I'm
just
also
living
the
in their
scariest.
I'm interested
Oh,
in
it's
the
so
idea
scary.
Yeah, it's frightening.
of some sort of conflict between this family happening that turns into this somehow. I don't know how it makes sense, but I'm interested in the idea.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But I think
was a-
more
it was a
than
fucking
likely it's the
drifter.
fucking drifter.
but who is the ultimate drifter? Then Bigfoot,
Yeah, that's
You're
a great
not
point.
wrong.
True
You're
that.
not
I just
wrong.
think that
friend of the animals.
here's
Just
what I
saying.
think is that I think in this time period in the world, like if you have a random fucking group of people who are just dealing with being
They were just
losing a
finding
war,
out. They were just
and
finding
fucking-
out who Bigfoot was.
So I'm just saying, like
They only knew about Yetis at that point. They were about to get into a world of hurt.
under these circumstances,
You got T. Mitch's ancestors dealing with Bigfoots in Washington
Uh,
State in the
almost this-
1920s.
Yeah, I think almost this exact year.
Almost this exact year, I want to say.
The Bigfoot mythos was being created right during this time.
T. Mitch's family.
Fact.
yeah.
We've only mentioned T. Mitch and never explained who he is.
T. Mitch is Bigfoot.
He is a
T. Mitch's
Bigfoot.
family
He's a Bigfoot family.
has to
man.
do directly with Bigfoot lore in Washington State.
Deeply.
One day we will cover this probably as a live show, and
That'd
we'll
be
tell you
great.
all about it.
That'd
But
be
not
a
now.
I'm
great
excited for that.
episode.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
some
be a
fucking
good episode.
exclusive content right there.
Yeah.
So you do a Bigfoot.
Yeah, invite on T. Mitch.
You use that book that his great uncle wrote as the source.
Not an uncle, not related, but a weird dude.
Right, who knew his uncle.
That knew his great grandfather.
Right. That's
His
what it was.
his grandmother's dad.
The whole
And
thing is very hard for me to follow.
It's very
it's this
strange.
bonkers
I've
dude.
heard this story multiple times, and I'm still like, what?
Yeah,
It's-
we'll tell it. We'll tell it in its full glory.
I
at
don't
some
hang out
point.
with T. Mitch sober,
Yeah,
so
you don't hang out with me sober.
I don't hang out with anyone sober. I don't hang out with my wife sober. My wife's home. I'm like, I gotta get fucked
She's
up.
in the other room.
Yeah, she's in the other room.
That's
And
why
I'm
you've
fucked
had
up now.
drinks. You
Because
knew she
I-
was coming home.
Danny's coming home. I get fucked up to deal with this.
All right, let's do our outro.
So we are the History Boys. I am Christopher Whedon, signing out.
Yeah, I'm understudy history boy Andrew Stevens signing out as well. Thank you for letting me be on the show, guys.
Absolutely.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
I am Zach Comfy Pants Mech, and I am also a history boy. Signing out.
And I am Jerry Nash. I'm a history boy. And thank you, as always, for listening to our show. We just talked about the Patreon, but follow us on all of the social media platforms that you got. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. You know, we post stupid shit on there all the time. So follow us there, and yeah, you can probably find shit out before it happens on there, and before you hear it on the show. Also, keep in mind, History Boiz, BOIZ, is one word. It is one word.
Damn straight.
So
It's one fucking word.
When you tell
Idiots.
people to listen to our podcast, History Boys, make sure to tell them it's History, BOIZ, all one word. History Boys, all one word, BOIZ.
Also, it's interchangeable. History boy. Everyone is a history boy if
Yes,
they really
indeed,
want
yeah.
to.
Yeah, you'd be a history girl.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, you can be any. Yeah,
If you
is not
identify as a
it's-
history boy, you're a history boy.
Yeah,
Or
it's
a history
beyond
girl, it doesn't
gender,
matter.
sexuality, or
Exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
All folks can be boys.
if you're listening, yeah, you are one.
Exactly.
So yes, follow us on those platforms, and if you want to send us an email to either give us a suggestion or to simply just say hello, we like hearing from you no matter what you have to say, unless you're being negative. We don't like that. We will just ignore you. But if
But we
you
will
have,
laugh about it behind the scenes.
we'll mock you. But
It's so funny.
But we'll
So
never
please,
talk.
honestly, please do it.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not condoning it. But send us positive
condemning
stuff,
it.
unless you want to be made fun of behind your back, which you will be if you send us.
Unless
negative
you're
stuff.
talking shit about Tyler, then that's fine.
Yeah,
Specifically,
then
talk
you're
shit
a
about
friend.
Tyler so I can feel good. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, fuck that Tyler guy. Get that Andrew.
I like that understudy history boy.
But if you're interested in helping us out, if you're like a fan of us and you're interested in helping us out, why not give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and maybe a little review saying how awesome we are? Because that totally helps us out. If you're not interested in helping us out, then I don't know what to do for you, man.
fuck
You're in the
yourself.
wrong place. Like, I don't know why you're
Stop
still listening at this
Keep
point.
listening, but also, like, come on.
Walk
Yeah.
into the ocean.
Hate listens are still download numbers.
That's a good point.
Hey, I don't care if you're listening still. If you're listening still, that's fine. But boy, that's a conundrum that your life must be. You must have to do some mental gymnastics to stick with us this long and still not like us. You must be dealing with some greater problems that I have nothing to do with. If you're still listening by this point, it's none of my business. Do not
That's
let me
on
know.
you.
Do not let me know about
That's
any of that.
between you and your therapist.
That's between you and
If you
the
listen to
good
History
Lord.
Boys and you hate History Boys, it is 100% your problem.
That's your fault. That is your fault. If you hate us, turn it off.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Nice.
Zach, do your
Zach,
thing.
do the thing.
I love you. Bye.
History or same thing. You, we had a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Or I guess we won't. Whatever.